Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Thursday, the 21st of November, and I'm Derek Clark, of course. I'm joined this morning by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, mate, it's going all right, thank you. Hope everyone's well that's watching at our new time of 9:35.
Apologies for the lateness, folks. Stevie's teed me up for that one. My microphone has bit the dust, I feel. Fell off my desk, and I was struggling technically to get that fixed in time to come on. But I've given up the ghost, so I'm using my laptop mic, folks. So apologies for the quality if it is somewhat off from what it normally is. But I'll look to get the microphone engineers on that as soon as possible to get it sorted. But let's crack on with all things Rangers. Since you've been on, Stevie, we were both on Monday, of course. The news came out on Tuesday morning that Niels Coppin has been promoted to technical director at Rangers, overseeing not only the transfer strategy at the club, but also the football operations, the academy, medical side of things, the performance and analysis departments as well. I'm keen to get your thoughts on that one because it's been a largely negative reaction, it's fair to say, on social media to another promotion from within.
If you're expecting me to be any different, then I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Derek. I just think it's completely unnecessary. A year ago, Niels Coppin was a scout at PSV, and he's now a technical director at Rangers. And I was okay with, Derek, let me put a wee bit of context into this. I was okay with him getting promoted to head of recruitment at Rangers because in order for us to find somebody like that, it could be costly. It could be that we just couldn't find somebody of that calibre. Maybe you have to aim for the guys that are shooting upwards, the up-and-comer kind of people. And I felt like Coppin perhaps was that. He had a really good record at PSV and he was involved in some good stuff. But remember, he was a scout. So he's went from a scout at PSV to head of our recruitment. And I'm all right with that, on a let's see how he does kind of basis. And then basically now within a couple of months, he's now a technical director in charge of all sorts of facets of the club that I'm not sure that he's got any experience in. And it's not like there's previous for us where promoting from within has worked, Derek. So I think it's unnecessary. I think that why we're doing this before a CEO and before a chairman comes in, I'm really not sure. And it just seems like it's all a little bit backwards. And that's just the way I see it. And Niels Coppin's probably getting the hard end of the stick because of everything else that's happened at the club in the last couple of years. And I feel like he could be doing a really good job behind the scenes, but we don't know. In terms of his transfer market, for every, Barron and Jeffy, there is Proper, there is Cortez, there is Diamandi, who are big signings, and we're still questioning whether or not they're absolutely good enough for the football club. So, and not to mention the fact that, the players we got to put out in the summer, we don't seem to have got a lot of money in for them and things. So there's still question marks over Niels Coppin before we even start pushing him and promoting him up the way. So I think that people are just a little bit surprised at the news, Derek, I would say. And people are also, it just feels like, how do I put this, how do I word this? It just feels like that you don't have to do a lot at Ibrox to get a promotion up the way. And it no longer matters how good you are at your job or anything like that. If you're there, you're getting pushed up, and it's happening a lot. And I just don't think it's worked. And I think that we'll give Niels Coppin a chance. Absolutely, we will. Yeah. But on previous years and on previous people that have been pushed forward and stuff like that, I don't think it's great. And as I said, I think it's unnecessary. Why not just wait? Why not just wait a few more months, put a chairman and CEO in position, and then come out with a statement that he's doing a really good job. We're happy with it. It helps us to where we are. They're going to work closely with chairman, CEO, and probably nobody reacts the way they're reacting now, which is negative because they're just not sure. And I just, that's my own opinion on it.
Yeah. Now, when I was on with Adam yesterday at the Q&A show, he said that could it be a factor that I know that John Gilligan and the club are looking to appoint a chairman and a CEO, that they may have someone in mind that would have okayed that appointment, Stevie? Because like you, I'm not entirely sure why it couldn't have waited until someone is in at the club filling those roles to make that judgment call. Perhaps they've already gave the yay on that one, perhaps.
Based on what, though? That's a big question. What we? I'm not being negative. I'm not being negative towards you, Derek. I'm just asking the question that other people are doing. What are we basing this promotion on? What basis is there to give him more responsibility at the football club, more oversight into everything? You know, he's handling things that I don't think are even in his remit before. Sometimes, Derek, rightly or wrongly, it feels like to me, we'll just put him in there because he's there and it ticks something off. You know, we can merge a position, we can do this, we can do that. And it's just... So, yeah, if a chairman and a CEO have signed that off, then I would be asking, well, what are you signing it off on? Because what have you seen? Does that mean they're already at the club? Does that already mean they're close to the club? We'll find out soon. But I'm just a little bit... How would I say it? I'm not unhappy. I'm just questioning whether or not we're doing the right things again. And it just seems to me like history's repeating a wee bit.
Yeah. Dana Life says, who would you have in it, lads? Off the top of my head, there's no one that springs to mind. It's an overarching role that Coppin is now responsible for, of course. So there's no one. I think now that when you're looking at it, the Rangers need some sort of general manager in there, someone, I mean, he's now in charge. He is still going out to watch players, Coppin. He's going to far-flung places to go and speak to people and watch players. But there's other departments, as we've touched on there, that he needs to take care of. There's not someone that comes into my mind at this moment in time. I don't know anyone that could step in and do that role. I know people say that Rangers need experience at this moment in time, experienced guys out there. There's not anyone, I think, that comes to my mind. Stevie, is there anyone that you think could perform a role at Rangers?
Here's an idea, Derek. Why don't we just go and advertise the positions like they're finally doing with the chairman and the CEO, which they should have done 7 months ago? Why don't they just go and do that? So we need a technical director. Why don't we just go and put the application out there, see who wants it, invite applications in for people and see who applies for it? I'm sorry to answer this so bluntly, but I don't carry around a wee notebook in my back pocket of potential chairmen, CEOs and sporting directors. It's not my responsibility. It's the responsibility of them that's running the football club. Them that didn't want to step in as chairman and got somebody else to do it because none of the shareholders would step up. And this is the reason why we're all so pessimistic about what the board's done, because in recent months, even years practically, we're all questioning the decisions they make. So when they do something like this, it's natural that everybody is sceptical, and that's the thing. And it's right to be sceptical, because what they're doing at the football club at the moment is just leading us from one bad decision to another. And very rarely have things went right. So when they do something like this, Derek, everybody goes, well, hold on. Why are we doing that? What are we doing this for? And it's natural. It might not be right, but it's just the current feeling of the support.
Yeah.
Because we question absolutely everything that's going on. And I'll go back and I'll say it again. Niels Coppin might turn out to be a wonderful appointment. He might turn out to be doing a great job inside Ibrox. But we've not really seen enough to back it up yet to even think that, at least with James Bisgrove might not have been a good appointment for some people as CEO, but he had 3 or 4 years of steady progression commercially where he showed that he was doing the job he should. So then I get that. I understand that you promote from within, you get the next best thing because he might be good for the club, etc., etc. The same way as you promote Coppin from a scout to head of recruitment because he's up and coming and things like that. I understand that. But based on 10 months of work at Rangers, which we've not seen anything of come to fruition yet, he's now our technical director sitting on our board and things like that. And I just think that's a hell of a jump with not a lot of things to back up. That's my point.
Yeah. Yep. I don't want to steal you and Chris's thunder because I know you're recording an episode of The Talking Point this week, and you're going to focus on the academy side of things that Coppin is now in charge of. This is an interesting point, Stevie, and it sort of pricked my ears when I heard Coppin say this on Tuesday in his interview to Rangers TV. Robert Ferguson gets in touch and says, which ex-players should Coppin hire? Again, we touched on this with Adam yesterday, and he did say that it's not a new thing that Rangers have had ex-players working as coaches at Auchenhowie. It's even happening now, of course, we see it. But this point that Coppin makes, is there ex-players out there you think that can enhance the young lads coming through the academy and develop them even more than what they are now?
Well, whether or not they are out there is debatable, but there is people available while they work for the club and things like that, is I'm not sure. But I think there's very obvious people out there when you think about Kevin Thompson, who has been at our academy, done a good job with the 18s, was involved heavily in bringing through the likes of Nathan Patterson. I think that makes sense. I think that he has got all the credentials, had a managerial stint at Kelty, done quite well, knows the football club, etc. So yeah, I mean, I think he's got all his coaching badges. Would you look at somebody like Barry Ferguson, who wasn't a world-class player himself in his day, but hasn't done a lot of coaching? You know, he was manager of Clyde and things like that, so he does have experience. But would you go down that route? I would be inclined to be looking at the likes of Maurice Ross as well. Now, I understand Maurice Ross is in currently in coaching. I think he's at Fleetwood with Charlie Adam and things, so I understand that. But would he consider coming up here? That's something I would be tempted to reach out. But after that, I'm not sure. You know, Lee McCullough, Chris Boyd and things like that, or maybe doing other things. I'm not sure Boydie would want to come and work in the academy at this moment in time. I'm not sure likes of Stephen Davis or even excuse me, Alan McGregor. I've heard those names floating about. I'm not sure that they're really, you know, coaching wise potentially ready either, more than say a Kevin Thompson, who seems like the obvious answer. So I don't know. I think there's certainly names out there that will be interesting to see where Niels Coppin goes. But I'm with Adam. You know, there is already an abundance of Rangers men at the football club coaching, at that in the academy. Stevie Smith, Malky Thompson, etc. So he says that a few difficult questions might or solutions might have to be found, etc. as well. Is he hinting at people moving out of the academy? That's what we'll find out. So we'll just need to wait and see. I mean, who's going to be running that academy? Who's replacing Jeb Jacobs and stuff like that? So there's a lot of positions there and a lot of things to be doing that we need to find out about before we can start appointing coaches. What would be the point in putting Kevin Thompson in and then hiring a head of academy who doesn't want Kevin Thompson? So a lot of it, you know, needs to fall in place before we get to that point. And I hate to think it's just buzzwords from Coppin trying to get us on side also. He'll be judged on what he says and what he does and what he delivers. So I would hate to think that that's just a pick-me-up for the support straight away.
Yeah, so there's lots of recommendations coming in, suggestions, if you like, about ex-players that could come in and help the young boys. Callum says Kevin Thompson would be great in a more responsible role, and he also says Maurice Ross is a great shout. Yeah, absolutely, he's a top guy, is Maurice. Matthew Ross says Barry Ferguson. Mark Higgins says Stephen Davis, of course, helping out at Northern Ireland at this moment in time, is Davo, and Mitchell says Neil McCann. Which is a good shout as well. He always speaks well, good knowledge of the game has Neil. But it will be interesting to see which ex-players do come in and help the club. One to certainly keep an eye on. Like you, Stevie, I hope that it is more than just words in Rangers and Coppin go out in there and bring some ex-players in that can enhance the coaching in Auchenhowie. There's nothing better, I think, than young lads learning from guys that have been here and done it for Rangers, so hopefully that will materialise. Another piece, there's a great piece on the website, folks, from Joshua, just on Coppin's promotion. I'd urge you to go and check it out. There's also a great piece on there about Rangers set piece woes. They haven't scored from a set piece this season. It goes into detail. The only Scottish Premiership club yet to score from a set piece. It has been an absolute bugbear of mine and many others for probably a number of seasons now. Rangers don't score enough from set pieces. I don't think there's enough work being done on them and not enough imagination on them either. I'm going to bring up a little image shortly, but Stevie, this doesn't really come as a surprise to me. The set pieces simply aren't good enough.
No, and what you're about to see from Joshua, the stats this season, our expected goals, chances created, the fact that we haven't scored yet from a set piece, Derek, from Joshua's pieces, it's quite frankly pitiful. It really is. It's poor coaching because it's marginal, and we've spoke about this for a long time. It's marginal gains in this league, and we don't look effective at all from a set piece. Half the time they don't even get it past the front man. I don't even remember us missing many chances from crosses or things like that. So yeah, it's if I was a manager of a football team and I was performing like I was at this moment in time, and that was our output from set pieces, I would be embarrassed. So I'd like to think that we would at least try to do something about it. But this, as you said, I've asked Clement in press conferences about set pieces before, and we get the same old bluster, new team, new players. We've only been here for 2 years, etc., blah, blah, blah. It's, and Ulderink came in the summer with a track record of being a set-piece coach, etc. How much has he actually been allowed to do on the training ground? Is he just there under instructions? Is he there just to do strictly as he's told? Like Alex Ray, you're there as a symbol and to do as you're told. And are you actually getting any influence? I'm not too sure that's actually happening. It seems to me like it's a wee bit like it's Clement's way, and that's all. So I'm not sure that the numbers are positive in any way at all. And as I said, if it was my football team, Derek, and I was getting that as an output, I would be quite embarrassed, because it is fine lines and it is fine margins, and we need to find ways to win games. And we're not finding ways to win games if we're not even mounting chances. Never mind goals, chances from set pieces. So it's very disappointing, to say the least. Not surprising in the slightest. No, it's very disappointing.
It's a huge part of the game, set pieces. You need to work on them in the modern game. You can get so many goals from them. Just for context, folks, Rangers scored 23 set-piece goals. That's including direct free kicks. It's 21, set-piece goals, including free kicks in the 22-23 season. Last season, that number dropped to 9 goals. And this season, it is currently at 0. I'm going to bring up a little image now, if this works. Fingers crossed it does. Joshua has very kindly set up this little image for us to show where Rangers' concerns currently lie at this moment in time. So here we go. I'll take away that morning briefing banner. So this is XG. Those of you that hate XG, I do apologise, but this is set piece XG from the following seasons and Rangers set piece goals in the lighter blue. So you can see Rangers overperformed their XG on set pieces in the 2021 season, the 21-22 season, and also the 22-23 season. That then dipped considerably last season, as you can see there. Rangers now underperforming their XG, and this season, it's there in let me say black and white, but blue and white, 0. There's not much you can argue about that. Stevie, Rangers quite clearly you just touched on it there, woeful at set pieces. They need to work on them. Do they need a set piece coach? We see it down south, a lot of teams. The famous one is Aston Villa, of course, the very animated Austin McPhee on the touchline at set pieces when Villa get them. Do Rangers need someone like that at the club?
Well, it goes back to what I said a minute ago about Andres Ulderink being a set piece coach and having experience at clubs before. Is he actually allowed to do anything? Is he allowed to coach? Is he allowed to have an influence? Because if we're just not practicing, then, this is something that Philippe Clement needs to answer and properly, and not with the same responses that we get with everything else, which is this is a new team, they're just in the door. It's a bit boring, This is a failing, Derek. There's no other way around this. It's an absolute failing, and we, I would struggle to see the point in hiring a set piece coach if the guys that are there that have got experience in doing it aren't being allowed to do anything anyway. So that's my issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to change. I mean, that's woeful. Like, it really is.
I mean, look at the drop-off, Stevie, from the 2022-23 season, they did considerably well. And then, the drop-off is there. I mean, it's quite stark, isn't it? Well,
Beale, when he first came in, if you remember, I think we had Leverkusen in a friendly, in a 3-0 game.
Yeah.
And we got 2 from set pieces straight away, because Beale was always quite, he was always kind of good with that. But we also had guys like Tillman and that who could attack the ball and do really well. So that's a kind of, I suppose, a small kind of caveat to those stats, I think. But it'd be interesting. I would like to know how many goals we've scored under Clement, period, since he came in last October. That would be an indicator of me, because obviously we've had none this year. I remember against Kilmarnock in the 4-1 win, I think there was 2 from corners. John Suter certainly scored at the end. I'm struggling past that to remember any other time, and people will be able to tell me there maybe is 1 or 2 elsewhere that we've kind of blocked out. But this isn't I don't want it to come across as being a let's, get Philip Clement and stuff like that, but it's literally right in front of you. It's not like we're making up facts to suit an agenda. Mm-hmm. My agenda is Rangers to be winning games and to be maximising the best we can do, and we're clearly not. And there's no other way you can't sugarcoat that. You can't pretend that it's down to circumstances and, we've been unlucky because we've hit posts and we're just wide. And I don't remember us creating chances at all. It's basically become a running joke. In the gantry, or you're sitting with your pals in the stadium stuff. Oh, here comes a corner. We'll get one soon. Like, it's laughable. So we're so deadly from them, but that needs to fix itself pretty quickly, Derek.
Lots of points coming in off the back of that, as expected. Let's get to 1 or 2 of them. Headkeeper says that we used to cheer corners. Remember Jim Gerrard's tenure in particular. Rangers scored a lot from set pieces, and that famous Aribo front post run certainly came up trumps on a few occasions. Robert with a point here. He says throw in tab, free kick tab, corner tab. It's not hard work It's not hard to work out our problems. I know that is a bugbear of many. James Tavernier taking the vast majority of set pieces in particular. Perhaps that is an issue just on set pieces. When Clement was asked whether they would employ a specialist coach back in February, this is what he had to say: no, because I love set pieces, and that is a thing of the past. But there's also a reason. I think I played a lot of games as I scored a lot of goals from set pieces, so I will not give away that part. So there you go. You're shaking your head, Stevie. Listen, we've just touched on it there. It is deplorable, Rangers, at this moment in time. I mean, like you say, it's not just set pieces. It's just chances, goals. They're not creating enough, Rangers, at this moment in time.
See and that's that reality. Derek, see that answer that he just gave, and my point that I made about how much is Ulderink, Alex Ray, etc., actually being allowed to do in the training ground. I think that's quite a prominent question that people should be asking as well, because his answer there speaks a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we see a set-piece goal on Saturday, but I very much doubt it. It's something.
Well, you might see one, it just won't be for us.
Yeah, for Dundee United, yeah. Go and read that piece, folks. The link is it's interesting stuff from Joshua. The link is below this video. A few other points coming in here I wanted to touch on. This is an interesting one, but slightly left field, Stevie, but I'm keen to get your thoughts. Bluebells are Blue says, Derek, Stevie, what do you make of the Hearts investment from the Brighton owners? What they've done elsewhere should sound alarm bells for us. This is, of course, Tony Bloom, who is down there at Brighton. in talks with Hearts about investing, of course. I think it was around about £10 million, if I'm not mistaken. It's had huge success down at Brighton. Is this something we should be concerned about, Stevie?
I think it'd be easy just to say no, and why bother, etc., Derek. But I think the thing is, like, if Rangers don't watch what they're doing and get their house in order quickly, then they are going to be looking over their shoulder instead of looking ahead, because, it's all right to say, and we can all sit here and say, look, Aberdeen are 9 points clear of us and they'll fall away and we'll catch them, etc. Will we? What's that based on? What's our own form based on? Because I watched us in our last game against Hearts and we were absolutely rotten. And I've watched us in other games as well, sometimes good. But those sometimes good performances are marginal. So the question there, should we be thinking about Hearts, and we should be thinking about everybody? Because if we keep doing what we're doing, we're slowly going to be sliding one way, and it's not the way that we want it to be. So, as I said, I don't want to come on and be, completely negative about everything, but it would be arrogantly dismissive if we just don't factor upon the state of Rangers at this moment in time and what others are doing. Does it ring up alarm bells for me? I try not to worry about anybody else. But it would be, as I said, it would be arrogant just to dismiss it and say, no, it's fine, because we're in a wonderful place. Well, we're not. And until we get back to the levels and performing on and off the pitches we should be concerned about everybody else around us.
Yeah. Good for Hearts, I would say. They have a bit of a torrid time this season, so any investment from someone like that, I think, would be welcome.
It should help them get up from the Championship next year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you look at what Brighton are doing down there at the moment. It's absolutely incredible stuff. So, Rangers should, I think, be looking over their shoulder at this moment in time. Stevie, Dundee United coming up on Saturday then. What I said yesterday, I'm hoping that we go to Ibrox and folk are entertained. This is entertainment biz after all. I know results, Clement needs results, but by God, the supporters have been through a lot this season watching turgid, boring football. Surely the fans will be treated on Saturday to a much more like it Rangers performance, will they?
All we want is a win and a performance of sorts. I don't expect 90 minutes of free-flowing Pep Guardiola, gegenpress, tiki-taka, football, whatever it is you call it, etc. I just want to know that my players are giving absolutely everything. I want them to try and attack. I want them to be creative. I want us to create chances. I want a bit of entertainment. That's the kind of bare minimum that we all expect. And I don't think that's unreasonable. And I would absolutely love for that to happen. I would love for us to get a strong result just so we can enjoy a Saturday night that's not, filled with doubts and upset about what we've just watched. So we've got an important period coming up. Dundee United starts a run of 4 league games, which I think are non-negotiable. Dundee United, St Johnstone away, Kelly at home, Ross County away. And they, on paper, are games that we should be winning, but they're also, on paper at this moment in time, quite tricky for us, aren't they? So we need 4 wins. Nice away is a bit of a bonus game. Spurs then come, and then you get Celtic in the League Cup. But we need to go into these games building on something. If you go into these games, Derek, with 7 points out of 12 or whatever else, it needs to be 12 out of 12. It's about time that the players, as much as we all blame Clement and we can all, have a go at him. And I saw the comment about Tav, Tav taking this, Tav taking that. Cherny's been taking them recently as well. So is Bayrami. And the quality is just as poor. So it goes back to what I've said a long time about this team not being physical enough. It's not aggressive enough. It's not filled with pace and things like that. And that's why you're not getting in from set pieces when you don't have the proper people in the middle to aim for as well. You can't play a cross in. Cyril Dessers isn't going to win a header against a dominating centre half. He's not going to challenge them. Suter and Balogun say aren't aggressive enough as centre backs the way Connor Goldson used to be when he was pitching in 5-6. And I say used to be during, seasons before. I'm not talking about last season. So you need to get that kind of physicality back. And as for Dundee United on Saturday, embarrassing as it is, if the worst goes wrong, we're looking at being 4th, 5th, down there instead of being looking up the way, which we should be. Rangers need to go and I don't think it's about putting down a statement performance or anything like that, Derek. I think it's just about performing to the levels that we expect they should be able to do so. And let's not fool ourselves. We've got enough players in there. Your likes of your Raskins, your likes of your Bairamis, your Cherneys. You know what I mean? We've got enough in that squad to entertain and play good attacking, flowing football. And you can hide behind the manager as much as you want, but the players need to step up as well, Derek. And I'm talking about all of them. Cyril Dessers had scored 3 and 3 just before we came off here. Thankfully for him, but he needs to up his performance levels as much as anyone. We need Danilo to start pushing. We need Matondo to magically give himself fit for more than 5 minutes. We need Yilmaz pushing it left back. We need these guys to start giving back to the squad. As much as we might think, as I said, that it's all Clement and stuff like that, players need to stand up. Starting on Saturday, it's a really important run for us again. And there's no excuses but to put a number of performances and results in front of us so that we can at least go into the cup final and say, we're not favourites. We're not in any way expecting to win here, whatever you want to spin it as, but let's go and give this a good go. And we've got 4 or 5 results to back it up on.
Yeah, I just want the fans coming away from Ibrox on Saturday just gleefully delighted at how well Rangers have played. It's been a long time since that occurred. I think Ross County only this season a match where Rangers really have put the opposition to bed fairly easily. But
there's been 2 performances in Europe, Derek. Malmo and
Malmo was good.
Stoya, where they were good performances. I think we got a reaction in Olympiacos. Where we could have won.
I don't worry about Europe, Stevie. That's the thing.
I was about to say, but domestically, I think you're bang on. I think that the only game where we performed domestically where we've been fairly excited by was Ross County. Yeah. So, and that's an outlier, isn't it? So I'm not expecting us to win 6-0, Derek, but we are capable of a lot better than what we're seeing at this moment. And I think that's entirely fair to at least ask that we get a response.
Yeah, let's hope we do. Right, that'll do us there, folks. Thank you, as ever, to you all for tuning in to the show. Big thanks to Stevie as well, as I touched on earlier. Those of you that are extra members on the YouTube channel, Stevie will be back with Chris as they look in detail at the Academy and the future of that. So, make sure you tune in for that one. Just a reminder, if you're a regular viewer of the show and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It means you'll never miss a video whenever we go live. Right, hopefully you enjoy your Thursday. It is bitterly cold out there, so make sure you wrap up warm. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. Until then, bye for now.